Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. It's Tori. Today, we're gonna do something that we may regret. Today I have on my channel a very special, very handsome guest.
Hey.
This is my husband, Ben. You've probably seen him on my channel before. Today, guys, we are going to roast each other's favorite books with 1-star reviews from Goodreads. So Ben has found 1-star reviews of some of my favorite books, and I have found 1-star reviews of some of his favorite books, and we're going to take turns roasting each other's favorite books. Do you want to go first, or should I go first?
I can go first.
Oh man.
I have a really short, sweet one for Frankenstein. An annoying scientist and an ugly tall man fight over who's more depressed. 1 star.
Okay, that's pretty fabulous, actually. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know how Tori's gonna react, but this is kind of true.
That's pretty great,
That's
actually.
basically the whole
I'm gonna
novel.
keep that, I'm gonna cut it out, and I'm gonna use it as a bookmark in my Frankenstein copy, because that's pretty fantastic. Also, Dr. Frankenstein is pretty annoying, I'm not gonna lie.
He does spend a lot of the book complaining.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
So, find something better to do with your life, Dr. Frankenstein. Staying within the classic sphere, I am going to take a quick jump over to Ben's, one of Ben's favorite classics, and that is Les Miserables by Victor Hugo.
All right, let's hear
Ready
it.
for this?
Mm-hmm.
A drama that lacks the complexity of Dostoevsky's books. Jean Valjean looks more like a caricature than a real character. They say that Les Miserables is superior to Notre Dame de Paris, but there the characters are much more human and real than this idealized nonsense.
Oh.
I love you so much.
They're both good. They're both good. Lies.
Your true colors are coming out in this video.
I need to reread them both to decide which is better, but I don't know that it's fair to say, like, this one is way better than this one.
You know what we should have done is we should have gotten blood pressure cuffs.
Just
see, like, how long it takes us to be like, no, I'm fine.
I'm fine. Deadhouse Gates, 1-star review. 1,000 plus pages of random encounters. No one has any plans that really matter. There's some setup, but it doesn't appear important to anyone, and in the end, nothing gets done. Everything that happens in the book is just random stuff happening on the journey to those poorly set up ends that never materializes. I've heard some say that this is based on an RPG campaign. If true, it shows particularly in this book. And the DM was crap, and just stalling the entire campaign by forcing all the player parties to travel through a desert and rolling random encounters every single mile until they are all dead.
Okay. Not having ever played, like, serious D&D in my life, I can understand the reference, but I disagree. The encounters are not random. I mean, when a bunch of people are traveling around the same area, like, I have random encounters in the grocery store, and it's because we're in the same area and we run into each other. I don't know. It's not for everyone.
I read the review, and it brought me back to the Oregon Trail days.
Oh,
and I was
my gosh.
like, you know, they should make a board game where it's Deadhouse Gates.
But the Oregon Trail.
But the Oregon
That would
Trail.
be amazing.
And you're Coltane, or you're in his army, and you're trying to get across the desert, but the game is designed to make you fail all the time. Like, there's no way to win.
All right, this is The Little Prince.
Oh, no.
A children's book that is for adults. A moral allegory too full of symbols. For me, it feels that the author struggled to include as many symbols as possible in as few pages as possible. I do not agree with all of the author's ideas. The repeated motives that grown-ups are bad, wrong, and going nowhere felt rude. Also, The Little Prince is quite annoying.
There's just no accounting for taste sometimes.
Them's fighting words.
Yeah, it's full of symbols. It's that kind of a book.
He's just... No, just no.
No.
Just no.
No, I have no more words for it.
Oh. I love you so much. Okay, do you want me to read another one?
And you decide which one you want to pick? Okay, sure.
I hate this book. The rose was so not worthy to be loved. The little prince wandered through the world and didn't care one bit whom he hurt. I don't like the writing, the story, the characters, or the message. Totally worthless and horrible book. I don't understand why so many people love it.
It's a positive message.
The prince didn't care who he hurt, I think, is kind of the point of, I don't like the message of
Would you rather him be a perfect character that never makes mistakes? Would you rather the rose to be something that deserved love as opposed to someone who, like, receives love via grace? You want to hear about Lies of Locke Lamora, Tori?
I don't know. Do I want to hear about Lies of Locke Lamora?
Yeah, I just got one here.
Okay.
Are you going to hold on to it?
Okay.
Black flagged at 40-something% as I just don't care about it in any way. Dialogue seems written by a teenager wanting to impress his creative writing class. Dull and insubstantial. I've really wanted to like it. Sad face.
When you get a group of friends together that are all bickering, bantering, throwing conversation back and forth with each other, I think people aren't used to that because we're used to having more literary dialogue in our books, if that makes sense. Like all the sentences make sense and are perfect and reach toward a certain goal. And I don't necessarily think that Scott Lynch doesn't have intentional dialogue, but it feels much more like authentic banter.
Mm-hmm. You're saying that the dialogue is written so well that it threw this person off.
Yeah. Basically, yeah.
Wow.
It's not for everyone.
It's not for everyone.
All right, are we ready for the Three Musketeers?
Let's do it.
D'Artagnan, you are an awful, fictional, possible real-life human being. Seriously, I didn't think you could get any worse with all your pride, selfishness, pomp, arrogance, adultery, idiocy, self-imposed righteousness, lust, and a bigger ego than anyone I know, until I read this line. We feel always a sort of mental superiority over those whose lives we know better than they suppose. In his projects of intrigue for the future, and determined as he was to make his three friends the instruments of his fortune, D'Artagnan was not sorry at getting his grasp beforehand the invisible strings by which he reckoned upon moving them being his friends. Ugh, I hate you, D'Artagnan. I wish you had died back in chapter 1. Porthos, you and me, we should be friends. Why? Well, because you don't really know what's going on, and neither do I.
Yes, I'll admit D'Artagnan is kind of all of those things, but I think if you made him a perfect hero, you'd have plenty of one-star reviews being like, D'Artagnan's just perfect.
But Athos, Aramis, Porthos are also not perfect heroes, and I love them.
They're maybe a little more likable.
D'Artagnan is just like...
He's a little hot-headed.
I have another review to read for this one. Here is a summary of the Three Musketeers from this one-star reviewer.
Okay, let's hear it.
4 whiny jerks offend each other, decide to team up, and spend what feels like a trillion pages womanizing, starting fights, killing people who barely, if even, deserve it, and getting drunk.
You know, the plot of the story is kind of missed there. Like, there is actually a plot to the Three Musketeers.
I do love that they started it with 4 whiny jerks offending each other, because honestly, the beginning of the book, I was like, really, guys?
Yeah.
Every 5 seconds, somebody looks sideways at somebody else, and then they're like, I am offended, let's duel tomorrow at 2 p.m.
Oh, you need some Red Rising roasting. Here we go. This one's a little long and there's a lot here. I began skimming the text by the time I got to page 50, which is a bad sign, indicating I found the book tedious. I couldn't keep the names straight of the various supporting characters, and I didn't care about any of them. The stratified society of colors didn't offer anything new and interesting to the genre. Training Darrow to become a better psychopath than all the other baby gold psychopaths just didn't hold my interest. Also, Darrow wrote a drill, so he's better at murder and fighting and strategy than all the baby golds? Nope. Didn't work for me. That last part is kind of true, though.
It is kind of true. I appreciate the humor in that review immensely.
Yeah.
Because it is kind of true. They do train Darrow to be more of a psychopath than the rest of the baby psychopaths. Yeah, basically. I don't know what to say. Like, it's true, but it's not. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is a hell diver, and so, like, he's got incredible dexterity, which I feel like definitely comes through in some parts of the book where it matters. What this person is missing is that particularly isn't the reason why they chose Darrow. More his character qualities of being a helldiver and the kind of resilience that takes, and the not fearlessness, but boldness that takes.
They saw greatness in him.
That's right.
Failed.
Well, he wasn't the first one they picked either.
I forgot that.
Yeah. Darrow's only a chosen one in, like, title, not necessarily for who he is specifically, because it wasn't like they were like, just him, he's the only one that we've ever tried. And like...
of all the chosen ones that we had, you're the first one who's actually succeeded.
You're right.
That's why the book is about you.
Critique. 1-star review of Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman. Gaiman is skilled with dialogue and conjures imaginative worlds. Sadly, his limp prose fails to capture the visions which lie at the heart of this book. On the whole, the story reads thinly. At times, the characters seem like they're just going through the motions of being in a Gaiman tale without knowing or caring why they're there. Much like the reader, unfortunately.
I will say that sometimes in these stories, the main character is just kind of a person, and suddenly the story swoops in and picks them off their feet, and they're off. The story reads thinly. What does that mean?
I don't know.
Perhaps this review reads thinly.
Shots fired.
I would like to see this person's example of limp prose versus...
Like not...
prose that is not limp. I don't know. I thought that the visions that lie at the heart of the book were captured rather well.
So Ben, what we say when we get to this point is...
It's not
for everyone.
It's not for everyone, I guess.
Back to our cop-out answer to any 1-star reviews. Okay.
Ender's Shadow. This whole book seemed to be written to contradict Ender's brilliance in his story. Therefore, I loathe this book. No one can be more brilliant than Ender. Don't give me that crap.
I'm gonna say this. That sounds like something an Ender fan would say. Because I'm Bean all the way. Like, in my opinion, I loved his character 100 times more than Ender. I loved his story so much more. I enjoyed Ender's Game. I loved Ender's Shadow. Bean is such a great character. The idea that, well, Ender's just like so far beyond. He's the Harry Potter of his world kind of thing. Bean is the Neville Longbottom, the one who's like actually cool. But again, that's my opinion, which is subjective. But I just think that's hilarious that somebody who's like, no, it's Ender. Ender's the chosen one. Thank you very much.
Most of the 1-star reviews for Ender's Shadow were people being upset because they were of the opinion that the fact that Bean was written in this way after undid a lot of the punch that Ender's Game had. Like,
or maybe it's this them finding out that their hero perfect character isn't actually like the be-all end-all.
Wow.
I don't dislike Ender. I like Ender way better than I like Harry. You can't stand Harry. No offense. Bean
is better.
Bean, in my opinion.
In your subjective opinion.
Okay, so the last one is one of Ben's favorite conceptual fantasy novels, and that is The Fifth Head of Cerberus by Gene Wolfe, which I have read. Allegedly. It's a subtle, intelligent, philosophical exploration of identity and colonialism. In reality, I found it a dense, impenetrable, non-linear grind. Reading it was mostly like wading through treacle. Is it trickle or treacle?
I think it's treacle.
Treacle? Treacle. We'll just go with that.
Okay.
Apparently, you're supposed to reread it to get all the nuance and meaning out of that. I'd rather stick needles in my face.
You lie. You would not actually rather stick needles in your face. A reread probably would help, or the type of thing where when you get to the third short story, it would be fun actually to like scissor out all the parts and put them in order. Oh man, if you can get to that third story and you get through it and all of a sudden you realize what it is that Gene Wolfe is doing in this story, whoa, it's cool. But if you get to that third story and you have no idea what's going on, and then you ask someone to explain it to you and they do, and then it just makes you more angry, then you know that Gene Wolfe is not for you. It is non-linear. Hardcore.
That's also the type of reader you are, though. Like, I don't like when a book makes me feel stupid, where I'm like, I have no idea what's going on, and the author takes some kind of pride in the fact that I don't know what's going on.
He just doesn't want to be super overly obvious. He doesn't want to give it to you on
That is not a problem in that book. There's like, I don't think if Gene Wolfe tried to be obvious, he could be obvious.
This is obvious. You get this, right? And you'd be like, no.
No.
Yeah.
So, that is all of the 1-star roast reviews of 5 of Ben's favorite books and 5 of my favorite books. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let us know down in the comments below if you have any 1-star hot take roasts of any of the books we mentioned here. Drop them in the comments below. I hope you are all having a fabulous week, having some 5-star, not 1-star reads, and we will see you in the next video.
Ciao.